Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enables you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello there, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide. I'm Mari, and happy 2013. We actually made it. Praise God. I am so happy that 2012 is over. I can't tell you. I was anticipating it feeling better, but it actually feels better than I expected, and I'm really excited. Today is my first day back to real work, and lots of productivity happening here and lots of projects and new things on the horizon. So I hope that you all enjoyed your holiday season and you're all set and ready to blast off. This is going to be a much easier time. Now, I'm not saying that life is going to be, uncomplex or uncomplicated, but what will probably be happening, if you allow it to, or what's available to you, is much more information, much higher heightened states of intuition, heightened states of sensitivity. Today we're going to talk about some of the walls that have sort of come down. We're going to talk about some of the feelings of division and separation that we've had before and how those have really gone away, and some of the things you can do to really tap in and get the messages that you need to move forward with ease and to move forward with a lot greater connection, and to really honor your own true voice and your own true desires. And that's what this year is about. It's about taking stock, and sort of, it's kind of like going on a marathon and then getting through the ribbon and somebody handing you all those cups of water and electrolytes and sitting you down and letting you have the pasta dinner to replenish your glucose. That's what this year is about. It's like a huge pasta dinner. If you don't eat pasta, insert your food of choice. But this is a year of blessings and a year of fulfillment and forward momentum. And it's not something that's going to just stop and next year is going to be, hell. It's going to get better and better because we just have the platform that's available to us. So we're going to talk all about that today, and I'm going to be doing some readings, and I think a few of you know that because Sam just yelled at me and said, "What are you doing? We have so many callers and we haven't even gotten on the air yet." So the number to call in, so you can bug Sam even more if you'd like to get a reading, because I will be doing some tonight, is 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. And speaking of readings, I am booking, let's see, oh gosh, we got a lot of things that we're booking right now. But we are booking readings for this month, and January and February, believe it or not, our Angel Outlook readings. I always like to offer an annual Angel Outlook reading special, so we are doing that. I'm keeping last year's prices for another week or so, just because I know that a lot of people like to get a reading at the beginning of the new year, so why not give you guys a break on that. And if you would like to get a reading, you can just go to the website and look under the Work with Mari tab and choose which one you want and sign up. And once we get your registration, we'll send you all the available times and get you on the schedule. So that should be pretty easy. And the other big thing that we're starting next week, which I'm very excited about, is my 5-week Path of the Lightworker course. Now, tonight, the stuff that we're talking about tonight is going to give you a little bit of a taster of what that course is going to be about, because that course is something I have not taught before, but something I've been compiling information about for many, many, many years. And I do a lot of channeling. I channel each morning. I write about, 8 to 10 pages from my guides, and they've been configuring a lot of stuff that I actually haven't really heard before, some of which I am going to be sharing tonight, but most of which I will be sharing in that course. And that's 5 weeks. It starts next Monday, and I have 5 spots left. So if you'd like to participate in that, it's the Path of the Lightworker, and you can go to ahamomentsinc.com/lightworker series. So that's Lightworker, SERIES series. And anybody who takes one of those 5 spots, it will get a free angel reading as well, a half-hour angel reading as a bonus for taking one of the last 5 spots. So if you'd like to sign up, it's ahamomentsinc.com/lightworker series, and I would really love to have you in this class. This is something, and we have a lot of registrations for this class from around the world, which is exciting. This is really what lightworkers have been looking for, because it's kind of that toolkit, and there's all the different things you hear me talking about, how different our bodies are, how we, you might have a ringing in your ear, which is your intuition letting you know, your clairaudience letting you know that it's ready to be turned up, that your intuition has messages for you. You might be having different sleep pattern changes and food changes and relationship changes, all the different things that are very, very specific to light workers, including, job situations, relationships, all types of things. We'll be talking about that. And I can honestly say that even what I wrote in the description for the class, which I wrote, 2 months ago, that's shifting, because these guides are really, especially now on the other side of the new year, my own world, is streamlining, and things are just boom, 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 falling into place, and the people are coming out of the woodwork, good people, good resources, opportunities are showing up, just really, really interesting shifts, and much easier. So this is a class I'm going to help you to sort of grasp all these new tools, learn how to navigate this energy. What I can say is it's kind of like going from that covered wagon to the Lamborghini. If you slam your foot down on the gas pedal like you would, on a 4-cylinder car, you're in a V8 engine, you're in a, rocket fuel now, you will give yourself a bad case of whiplash. So there is some finesse that's needed with dealing with this energy, but just a few tweaks and you're going to be really on your way to some really terrific things. So I hope you'll join me for that class. So that's ahamomentsinc.com/lightworker series. And if you have any trouble with that link, you can just send us an email at support@ahamomentsinc.com, and we'll be happy to get you whatever information you need. The same thing with the readings. If we're changing my website, I'm getting a new website done. So if there's any kind of issues with those links, you can just send me an email at support@ahamomentsinc.com, and we'll get you whatever information you need. So during the holiday, in between Christmas and New Year's, I went to Vermont, and I went for 5 days to a writer's retreat. And if you're on my Facebook page, that's facebook.com/Mariana M. Cooper, or you can go to the one that's /AhaMomentsInc. You'll see I have a whole photo album on Facebook. And one of the things we're going to talk a lot about, in fact, I'm developing a new course for this too, is doing what you love and loving what you do. And one of the things that I did when I was there, or I was blessed actually to experience while I was there, because we were there for like 5 days, and of course in Vermont in January, there's just a little bit of snow. Try 4 feet of it. It was like a foot a day. It was insane. I called it Snowmageddon in the North Pole, and they were all laughing at me because I was like, this is really over the top. But and I had no idea that there's people who live in these mountains so far away. I mean, it's just insane. But anyway, we had the fireplace. They had a chef for us. They fed us, all around the clock. We got to write and talk. But what was amazing was to meet these phenomenally talented writers. All of them at the place, including the owners, were just phenomenally talented writers, and to see how they have all made a career out of their craft was just so inspiring. Because a lot of times, especially in my line of work, I see people who are really struggling with being able to be passionate about what they do and make money at it too, And so that's something that we always sort of go back and forth on and talk about. People always say, "Well, I have to make money from a job, but I want to focus on this." And being in that space for 5 days, and kind of can't get away from any of it because you're in the snowmageddon. I mean, where are you going to go? I mean, you're just looking at the moose and the trees and the mountains and the snow. God. Anyway, but I got to really speak with a lot of these phenomenally talented folks, and and it's not like they don't have fear, or they don't have issues going on in their lives, or they haven't seen their life flash before their eyes, at some point financially or relationships wise. One person's getting a divorce, somebody else had was making a fresh start with getting a new home. Somebody else was focusing on having the courage to write and really get her voice out there. And the owners were just phenomenal. And what I came away with is that we really need to honor our hearts. And our hearts have a gift to deliver to the world. Our heads are just the stewards of putting that sort of gift together for the world, but our hearts are the drivers. And if we shut down that heart thing because we have to pay bills, or because we have to live up to somebody else's standards, or we're criticizing ourselves, we're really doing ourselves a disservice, but we're doing the world a disservice too. And what I saw was that these folks who were so talented, we did some readings and I got to hear their work, and what I felt was this passion that was just allowed. So my question to you guys tonight is, would you be willing to allow what you're passionate about to come forward this year? And if you're already there, will you be willing, you're already working on it, you're already sort of in it, will you be willing to let it go to places that you haven't been willing to go before? Are you willing to do that this year? Because this is the time. And if you say yes to that, then are you willing to do some of the things that really are not normal, your normal, for that? Because we're not really in normal times anymore. There's a new normal, and I'm not talking about the show that Nene Leakes is on NBC. But it's the idea, the title is very accurate. We have a new normal that's developed and will continue to develop. And one of the portions of that new normal is that we get to have what we desire. And with that, when you get what you desire, everybody else kind of gets it too, because whatever you receive for yourself, you're still receiving for the collective, for everybody, because of that whole interconnection thing. So tonight what I wanted to talk about, and this is something the guys came up with today, when we were talking about the magic of the new year, I tell you, all the cliches, fresh start, new year, blah, blah, blah. Of course, it's the theme of January, right? The diets, the fresh starts, getting organized, breaking through, breaking down, breaking up, whatever. Hey, it is what it is. It's a great time to think about it. It makes perfect sense, and we're going to talk about it too, but maybe a little differently. Now, one of the things that the guys talked about today in my channel and my pages this morning was about this veil. Now, I want to talk about this only because it made so much sense, and this can be a real power, some high octane fuel to what you are in the process of creating for yourself. And if you haven't figured that out yet, we're going to be talking about that through the coming weeks. But if you haven't figured out what that passion is yet, or that thing that really makes your heart sing, this little portion that we're going to talk about now will actually support you and help you to receive that information. Because the first point, even before I get to the whole veil thing, let me talk about this, because this is even bigger, is how in the past we've talked so much about attraction. Law of attraction, attracting this, getting our vibration high enough to attract this and that, attraction, attraction, attraction. So we're always like closing our eyes and gritting our teeth and holding our vision boards and affirming and affirming and affirming that we're going to attract, and and trying to talk positive and be positive and all this. And it was a very, believe it or not, attraction was a very active thing to do. It's like kind of going after something, but instead of going after it maybe physically like we're used to, we're going after it energetically. So it kind of created a sense of panic, a sense of gripping, a sense of attachment, because it's like, you have to get in the emotion and fuel it and attach and hold, and then they say, and now let it go. And it's like, well, how do you let it go when you just did all of this attaching to it? You know what I mean? It's all this amping up this energy so that you can keep your vibration high, so you can be aligned with the energy of whatever it is you wanted, and the house, the relationship, the money, whatever, the healings, whatever. And then you get so tired, and then you start to feel negative and vulnerable because now you're really attached to it. And what if you don't get it? And you start to worry, and then it cancels it all out. Then you spend time spinning around trying to attract it again. Well, there's a new word in town, okay? And that new word is allowance. And in the past, allowing was a little tough because our energy was denser. And there's a lot of churn and a lot of spin and a lot of people focusing on the attraction and the churn and the spin. And how come that person over there got their stuff and that person over there got their stuff and I didn't get my stuff? And, all that spinning in the energy. Well, this energy now that we sort of moved that old stuff out and we're on this new grid is about allowance. Now, that does not mean you don't take inspired action, but that allowance, if you could start to replace the law of attraction, that word, attraction, and put in law of allowance. Okay? Allowance. Just that, doesn't that give you a little breathing room? It's like UPS is going to show, like the cosmic UPS is going to show up at your doorstep with your desires. You're going to open the door and you're going to allow it to come in. You don't have to attract them and say, come my way, like we did in Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Irene, when we all wanted our power back on and we've been out of power. Those of you on the East Coast will get, well, probably across the country, everybody's lost their power at some point in the storms. And we see the PSE and G-Truck, which is our local energy company, and we see them off in the distance in two towns over, as we're driving through trying to find a grocery store that's open, and we're just trying to get them to come to our house. You're trying to pull the truck right into your neighborhood and over to your wires and get your power back on. That pull, that heavy pulling, that attraction, as opposed to allowing them to show up and being willing to open the door when they do. Right? It's just easier. It's easier, and that's what this is about. So it doesn't mean that you're going to have. It's a simpler time. Let's put it like that. I should probably stop using the word easier because some people may not find that it's so easy, but it is simpler, much simpler, and the simplicity is in the allowance. All right? So, did I give you guys the number to call in? I probably already did give you. Sam, did I give them? Okay. Let me just give it to you again because I see that everybody's queuing up here. 347-215-9485. If I hadn't done that already. I'm talking so much. God only knows what I just said. Anyway, there it is. So, all right, let's talk about this veil, and then we're going to get to our first break in a couple minutes, and then we'll get to the readings and all that stuff. So when we talk about the veil, first of all, we talk about you hear me talk about this all the time. We have the infinite self, our infinite being, that big version of us, that energetic ball of energy of us that's our whole soul, every lifetime, every connection, every dimension, our big infinite version of ourself. That's the greater self, the higher self, the interconnected self. And then that piece, that huge ball of us decides it wants to have some physical experience in a particular dimension, dimension and lifetime. So it incarnates in a small thimble called the body, and a portion of that overall energy of who we are takes on this body to have physical experience. You hear me talk about this. If you've been listening to the podcast, you've heard me speak about this often. This is super important. It is the core. It is the most basic of basics when it comes to all this stuff, okay? And it's not to be ignored. So you have that infinite version of you, and you have that embodied version of you, the portion of you that's in the vessel, in the body, and then what swings back and forth between the two so the infinite part of you can help the incarnated, embodied part of you navigate the world is intuition. The language of intuition is the pendulum that swings back and forth, the communication link. It's the CB radio. It's the cell phone between the two worlds. Now, that division, that thing that what's the difference between our bodies and our energy? Well, believe it or not a whole lot. Now, most of us have felt, and we've been taught this, I mean, in mystery school and all kinds of things that I've studied over many years, a couple of decades now, we've been taught about this veil. They call it the veil, and I'll put that veil in quotes. And that's the veil between us and the other side. It's kind of like, we get the veil of, they call it forgetfulness when we're born. We forget all our other past lives and our parallel worlds and our gifts and our intuition, and we're here in this embodied self, and we're just going to learn to, use our intellect and our thoughts and our mental mind and our to-do lists and take action and do all this stuff. And so they say, oh, the veil, you have to get through the veil, and it's getting thinner or thicker or whatever. But what it really is it was kind of a way to describe this feeling of separateness between us and our greater power, our greater selves. And in that separation, people get very, very caught up in that and how big that separation is. Now, some people felt their veil was very thin, and especially like intuitives like me, they say, "Oh, Mari, you're very connected to the other side. You don't have the veil, but I do, and that's why I need you to give me a reading," and that kind of thing. Well, believe it or not, this is what we call duality. Okay, so it's the sense of separation, that there's the us and the them. And that is the piece that has really kind of gone away. And this veil that I always thought was something kind of, I hate to use the word, but separate from us, this kind of like this dividing, curtain between us, is actually, I always thought it was something different than the body. But what the guides told me today is that it actually is the body, that your body is really that psychic antenna. It is your receptive centers are all housed in the body, and your body is actually this veil, is actually that little division between the embodied version of you and the energetic version of you. And the cleaner and clearer your body is, the clearer your intuition comes through, the more connected you are. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't need a body, or that if you're overweight you can't get the information, or if you're toxic or anything. Not at all. But what they want you to know is that your physical body is actually a very energetic body too. It's a very energetic piece of you. It's not like this sort of solid matter. And when we think of where you receive your intuition, where do you think you receive your intuition from? When you think about this, do you think you get it in your head or in your stomach? Or, some people who are into chakra, oh, I get it in my crown chakra. That's where I get the information. That's where it originates. Or some people who channel, they say they get it in their appendage point. The appendage point has been said to be at the base of the neck, where the neck connects to the back. That's like a opening center energetically for you to receive, channeled information. All these things. Now, all of these places are true, but here's the thing: you actually receive information, energetic information, your intuition, not only through all of those places, but actually, now think about this, or receive this, allow this, you receive it through every cell of your body, because every cell is holographic. Every cell is a microcosm of the macrocosm of your whole body. So the cells in your feet can have the cells of your kidneys. They're going to have the energy of your kidneys reflected in it. Your whole body has some sort of housing in each cell, which also includes that intuitive, energetic, interconnected portion of you as well. So when you receive information, the phrase that you've heard, I felt it in every cell of my body. I could feel it. I got the goosebumps. My hair stood on end. I knew it with every piece of my being. Every piece of my being, every cell of my body. I received, I knew this knowing. Okay? That's just not mental mind, okay? Your mental mind, you feel very high, kind of high up and outside of you. But your knowing, that intuitive knowing, is coming through every cell of your body. And your bodies actually, with this new shift since the solstice, have been upgraded. So the veil has gotten thinner because the upgrade has given your bodies even greater power than they had before, which is why it'll be easier to allow. Okay, to allow. You know, when a toddler, I'm going to say this and then we're going to go to our first break. When a toddler is trying to learn how to walk, and they've been crawling across the floor and they've been going pretty fast on their knees and stuff, and they stand up and they sort of waddle and they fall down and they finally start to take a step. When a toddler takes a step, how much energy does it really take for that kid to pick its foot up and keep itself from falling over? You know, it takes a lot of work, right, to just to put one step forward and then put another step forward and to sort of land in your mom or dad's arms, right? But when you are older and you're fine, you've completely mastered walking, it's pretty effortless to get up and just walk to the kitchen and get a soda or something, or a glass of water. It's allowing, right? You're not thinking about working towards walking. It's just sort of becomes a part of you. That's the allowance. So when you think about what does this allowance really mean, that's, you know, kind of take that little analogy into consideration. When we come back from the break, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, and then we're going to start taking readings because there's so many of you calling in. I see some people from Europe and, oh gosh, all kinds of time zones here, and I want to honor you guys because I know that you're on, long distance, and I know that it is very, very early in the morning, especially I think in Portugal that I see here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this. We'll get into the calls and readings. If you have any questions about this topic, please call in. I'd love to chat more about it with you. And let's see. Oh yeah, let me give you the number one more time. It's 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. And when we come back, while you're on the break, do me a favor. What I would like for every show, we had thousands of listeners, and we didn't even have the show for the 2 weeks that we're off, and we didn't put up reruns or anything. And I couldn't believe that when I got my numbers back for the week, I was like, oh my gosh, we had thousands of people were listening just the archives. Would you guys friend the Blog Talk page? It would really help us out so that we can start to do some planning, and just, you know, there's a thing on the platform there. If you I don't know if it's called a friend, or I don't know what the word is, but that would be really, really helpful. I know it's our Facebook page at facebook.com and whatnot. But the Blog Talk page in particular, it really just helps me because I would like to be able to start asking you guys what you want to hear on the show and just get some feedback from you. Not to promote you, but to just get some feedback so we can build a show. We're also building a new TV show. We have 2 TV shows in the works. I'm meeting with producers all week about that. And so I'd like to just really be able to get more of your opinions, and I see that, you know, that was something I wasn't paying too much attention to, but I found all these messages, all kinds of stuff was happening over that break. So if you haven't already followed the show, please do that. Again, if you'd like to call in, 347-215-9485, and we'll get to your readings on the other side of the break. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and we will be right back.
Do you ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Are you at a crossroads in your life, facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Hello, you're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. I'm Mari, and today we're talking all about getting information and allowing things to happen easier this year than any time before in history, and a few other things as they come up as I talk. I always get these messages, oh, say this, oh, say that, and, we just sort of go as we go. And, I know we're on the other side of the break, we're talking about this veil, and that our bodies are really we have full body receptive centers. It's not just your head or your ears or your crown chakra or your solar plexus. You're receiving energy from within every cell. Just by shifting your point of view about that, it opens your willingness to receive in that way. And you will be able to settle down and not have to think so hard about what's next. You can step into that state of beingness as opposed to doingness. Okay? So instead of thinking about, I have to learn this, I have to work at this, which is very mentally, it's kind of old school. The new school is this allowance and this being. Now, again, it does not mean you don't take action. It does not mean that you don't have plans. It does not mean that you don't set goals for yourself. It doesn't mean that at all. But what it does do is it makes the process of forward progression in your life easier, because can you imagine if you're receiving from everything through your whole body, it's going to be a lot easier to get confirmations on things. It's going to be a lot easier to get new ideas. It's a lot easier to allow new people into your world who are in alignment. These are some nice words, allowance, alignment, with what your desires truly are. Desire, do you know D-E-sire, of the Father, coming from that greater being, that greater energy, that greater energy. Inspiration, that I-N-spiration. Within the spirit. Okay? These are the, insight, that sight from within. Because everything that's happening within you is actually going, you receive energy into your body, but you also push energy out, right? You push energy out. And as whatever you flavor that energy with, kind of like taking food coloring to water or some sort of substance to water, right? You flavor that water. Whatever you push that out of your body with, that's how your world reflects. Now, a lot of these concepts you've heard before, and people say, well, why don't you say something new? Because there is truth is truth. You're going to hear it kind of a little differently phrased and analogies from all the different people that you might listen to, to learn from, or to receive from. But at the end of the day, it kind of all comes down to some basics, some of the same basics. So what can you do with your body to help it have an easier time? Because one of the things you have to recognize, so the upside is we're these big receptive centers, and we have access and we can do all this allowance. The not so upside, I don't want to say downside, but the not so upside is, like everything else, there is some maintenance involved. And if you open yourself up to every single thing happening on the whole planet, that's when it can become overwhelming. So you do have some shields, and that's why we're not conscious, in our mental mind of every single thing going on, but energetically we are. Okay, so your mental mind, your embodied mind, your conscious mind, that's different than consciousness. Okay, your conscious mind, being conscious versus unconscious, your conscious mind is aware of a certain amount, but your consciousness is aware of all things. And that's why when they say when you are joyful and you put that out onto this energetic grid, you put that out into the greater consciousness, you help everyone because their greater consciousness receives it. When you put out hatred, criticism, jealousy, envy, exhaustion, all that into the greater consciousness, it affects the consciousness of everyone. Now, whether they receive that into their conscious mind, that embodied version of their mind, it can happen or not happen. Okay, it depends on what you focus on. And so some of the things you can do to help yourself with this is you want to make sure that you're doing your energetic hygiene. Now, those of you who have studied with me for a while hear me say this a lot, and it bears repeating. So your body is hypersensitive, okay, and you want to keep this sort of thin gossamer veil, this version of this thin sort of division between you and your body, which is kind of not even a division anymore, between you and your embodied version of you and that infinite version of you. The only thing that's in between that is the flesh and blood, and all of that is made up of cells that receive the energy. So it's really kind of like this filter back and forth, which is what makes it so much easier to allow things forward now. So doing any kind of basic detox, doing your energetic hygiene or your nature walks, your hot sea salt baths, doing your smudging, doing your various clearings of your environment, getting out and, getting out in nature. I'll tell you, going up to Vermont and even though it was Snowmageddon, it was so much snow, oh my God. The air was incredible. It really was. You can't lie, it was just a lot of snow, but it was a lot of amazing air and the peace, the quiet. There was quiet there like I, never experienced before. Absolutely magnificent. So that, just taking in the oxygen in a place like that is just a huge clearing of the energy, and also a wonderful turbo boost for your creativity. That is for sure. Of course, doing exercise or movement, whether it's rhythmical movement, you can ask your body what it requires in that regard, just body, what you require in movement, what do you desire movement-wise, and you might come up with something different than what you expect. It might be Zumba on your Wii machine. It might be going to the gym and doing a boot camp class. It might be just taking a gentle walk in the park, But ask your body, because each day we have a tendency during this time of year, too, to try to regiment ourselves and punish ourselves for everything we didn't do last year. That's not the approach to take, especially not in this energy with everything being so amplified. The approach to take is more allowance, allowing your body to participate in the choices you make by listening to it, asking it, and receiving. If it says, I really would prefer to do Tai Chi than, hardcore boot camp with the step and the weights and the bands and the spinning and all this, then Tai Chi. And then there will be days where your body says, I'm ready for some weights. And it doesn't want to do the yoga today. It wants the weights. Go do the weights. And that's the part of the allowance, is to allow yourself to sort of flow without so much of this regimentation where you're cutting off the communication that your body, especially now, has. Okay? So I'm going to stop there with content. I have a couple more pages. I'll do that in the Lightworker class, I guess. I don't want to take up too much more time on that because we have so many callers today, and I want to get to chat with you guys. So let's see. Who do we have first? How about Diana in Portugal? Thank you for being up so.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How are you? Thank you.
How are you? Thanks for calling in from Portugal.
Thanks. I'd like to know if I'm on the right path spiritually. Sometimes I feel that there's a lot of information and that maybe I should be doing more in order to connect.
I think tonight's call, if you listen to the podcast again from tonight, I think that's going to give you a lot of the answers that you're asking about. Exploration is different. It depends on how you're approaching the information that you've been receiving and that you've been gathering. There is a point, and this is for everybody, not just you, but there is a point that, we are in a point of adventure and exploration, especially when we're in the awakening phase of spiritual development, where we're really for the first time walking, sort of into all this information, and it's kind of like a kid in a candy store, like, oh boy, when you start to ask that kind of question, Diane, you're probably coming to a point where you want to start streamlining and sort of choosing something to go a little bit deeper into. It feels like you've gotten a lot of surface knowledge, to some depth, but then you might want to allow yourself to sort of step into something a little bit more intensely. But I don't think you're on the wrong track. I just think you're going through a transition, as most people are right now. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for calling in. Okay, let's see. Here we go. How about Diane in New Hampshire? Hi, Diane. We have two Dianes tonight.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good.
I am also in transition. I probably should have left my job quite a while ago, and now I think they're going to let me go, ironically. I've been feeling that I probably will be moving. My next move will be out of state. So one of it is the move, and the other piece is I have difficulty getting a concrete message. I want to start a business. I have a lot of skills and experience, but narrowing that down to what really will I offer and what is.
All right. I want a 3-hour reading in about 60 seconds. So I get what you're saying. I get where you're going. So let's kind of tease out what's the top priority. And I think the top priority is actually, and this is going to seem a little strange, the top priority is to stop beating yourself up for not leaving your job sooner. Okay. You actually were energetically in the process of leaving the job, which is why it's manifested as it leaving you. Don't give the power away to them letting you go. Know that you created this energetically. Okay? And it was all, and a lot of people do this. They know they curse that job for years. Then the job goes away and they mourn it like they were and I'm not saying you're victimizing yourself at all, but they do mourn it like it's like, oh my God, and then they beat themselves up. Oh, I should have, maybe I should have left a long time ago. I would say don't put yourself into a spin with all of that. And this is where the allowance comes in. Just allow it to go away. Now, if you go into that space of allowing it to go away, and not any time on I should have, what have, you can't. Who cares? It really, at the end of the day, who cares, right?
Right.
Care about right now is going forward, okay? And going forward, what's nice about now, letting that job go now as opposed to before, letting it go now, you have the whole playground is built already, in the sense of you've got the whole grid that's working in your favor, and so all of the resources for you to have a nice, smooth, fun transition to something new and for it to actually work is there now more than ever before. So I don't really
feel that. I do feel the energy is a lot better.
Yeah, now what you need to do, though, okay, Sweetie Pie, is you need to focus only on what it is you want to create. And do not waste, because this is where you're getting tripped up. You're wasting energy in your very cool analysis of everything that's happened to you to this point. Okay?
Right.
Cool, because you're very good at it. And analytical ability of yours has taken you far in your life. And people ask you for that all the time. However, that is the very skill that will also cannibalize you in this energy.
Right.
So I want you to use your analysis. Put your analysis, give it a different job, okay? Instead of it feeling like it has a duty to sort out everything from before, don't try to shut it down, because it's your guardian. It's like your bodyguard. Just give the bodyguard something different to do. It still has to guard you from the paparazzi, but maybe it doesn't need like an automatic weapon. It can just sort of say, paparazzi, go away, in this new energy.
Okay.
Okay. Give the bodyguard a new job. So that analytical ability, say, I want you to analyze what the best business is for me, where I can make the greatest contribution, where my heart sings, and I can make more money than I know what to do with. Okay? Focus that analysis in a more constructive direction, so that it's not tripping you up. And I think just by doing that, I would just take the next week, I'd get a nice notepad. I would highly suggest that you don't use your computer, and this is for everyone listening. Use your hand to write your intentions, to write your journaling. Use the pad and paper if you can. If you physically can't, okay. But if you physically can, use your pad and paper, because it's connecting you again through your body, through that apparatus that is now, is your big receptive center. Your whole body is contributing to what you're writing. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
You're receiving all that energy from that infinite part of you through that writing process. And I think if you just give yourself 3 to 4 pages each morning of writing, I think you're going to find something very nicely unfolding. And then put your analytical bodyguard on the page and let them analyze what you just wrote. That'll keep them in the right playground, on the right playpen.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, my dear.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Have a good Thanks for calling it. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness, we're already past my next. You know what? I'm going to take a quick break. And then we're going to take the rest of your call. Actually, you know what? Forget that, Sam. Let me take one more, and then we'll take the break, and then we'll come back and do a couple more before we wrap the show. So let's go to, I hope I say this right, Ayla in Aspen, Colorado. Hi, Ayla. Or is it Ayla?
Hey. Hi, Mari.
Hello. You're a happy camper.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I got to go snowboarding today, so and I meditated, so it's great.
Oh, you're
great day.
That's wonderful.
And yeah, wow, just what pertinent and potent information. I feel like all of it really applies to me too.
Oh, good.
So thank you. And I would really appreciate some guidance on my divine life path, blueprint, and what I can do to bring in financial abundance easily, effortlessly, and really embodying my truth.
Okay, so that's a lot of jargon to say, what should I be doing next? Is that because there was a lot of... Okay. Yep. What you just did today is extraordinarily powerful for getting direction on that. And you're really, really, really on the right track. And here's an exercise I'm going to ask you to do, because I always hesitate to tell someone, this is your life path, because then they go on off of the Mari voice and not off their inner voice. And this is a time where that information is like right in front of your nose. Have you ever thought of working at the ski school?
Yeah, I get that so much, but I've been I'd rather be competing and in the X Games and in the Olympics and in,
So there you have it, okay? Because So you're
it feels like really blocked from that, though. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. What did you say? It feels like what?
It's really blocked from that.
Well, it's only blocked because you feel you have a mental choice that you've made to sort of stand in the way of that. But it's not an impossibility for you. And the thing that they said is, as soon as you said that, like when you said I snowboarded and I meditated, and you had this huge burst of energy when Sam answered your call, just that combination, you can't get any more creation than that. Now, what you have to do, again, this is the duality. You're seeing making money very separate from what you love to do, And one of the best things you can do to help your game in anything, and I've been, an equestrian for many, many years. I competed all over, and the ballroom dancing, competed all over the world. And teaching what your sport is one of the best ways to get really good at it. So I wouldn't necessarily put that as something that would keep you from going to the X Games. I know that you have to probably be an amateur for what you're thinking about, so you don't want to, be on the books making a fortune of money, taking endorsements and all that kind of stuff. But I would seriously, I think you have a lot of talent there. I think that your gifts, you're living in the right place. You're already on the mountain. You already know how to do what you want to do. You already know that you're passionate about it. You've got all of you've got all the ingredients. You just need to bake the cake. And kind of like I told the other lady, get out of your way. Get out of the analysis soup and get into the allowance soup. And the question you want to ask yourself is, how can I get myself funded to go further in this in an Olympic level? And it's right in front of you. It feels really, really close. What I'm getting for you is corporate sponsorship. I know, like UPS. I would look into UPS because when I was in AT&T, I worked on the Olympics. I actually did the Olympic Games. One of the things UPS had, they probably still have, you want to look into UPS, FedEx, the U.S. Postal Service, and all of the big Olympic sponsors, and they usually have a local, like an individual athlete sponsorship. And I would start to explore that because I really do think you can get sponsored. And you want to make sure you start doing, some local competitions. But I think the teaching will help you a lot. And one of the things that will help you receive abundance, and that means not just from a job, but from, sponsorships, scholarships, gifts, angels, the person who, always wanted to snowboard but never could, and now he's too old kind of thing. All those kinds of people will show up in your world if you don't cannibalize your energy by feeling like they have to be two separate things. So hopefully that will give you a little bit of guidance. But I would definitely look into the sponsorship programs at those major sponsors of the Olympics. They do a lot of the athletes than you think. That I know for sure because we used to do it at AT&T.
Thank you. And you mean cannibalize my energy, like if I keep seeing those two things as separate?
Yeah.
And not helping myself?
You're literally stopping the people from showing up in your world who can help you by using your analysis as, like Diana was doing in New Hampshire. I don't know if you heard her call, but she was using her analysis to sort of cannibalize her present because she was so focused on the past. You're ready. I think you really should just open your heart and be willing to be vulnerable and be willing to have the uncertainty of not knowing. That's the big thing. You may not get all the answers right away, but you have to take it one step at a time and follow the yellow brick road.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Keep me posted. Send me pictures of you snowboarding, okay?
Come on out to Aspen. I will.
Just got to come on. I'm not going anywhere near snow and mountains for a little while. But if you go to Aruba, let me know.
Sounds good. I'll send you pictures.
Okay. Thanks, Ayla. Have a great night. Keep snowboarding. Okay. Well, you know what, Sam? I guess I'm going to skip this next break because we have more people and we're running out of time. We have about 6 minutes before the show wraps anyway. So how about Julia in Arizona? Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hi, Mari. Very well. Thank you so much. Thank you for our time together. Gosh, what a blessing.
Ew. That's nice. That was a nice holiday, well, post-holiday blessing. Thank you. So what's your question?
Just magnificent that I'm able to be on this call and be with all of you. I'm living here in the Phoenix metro area of Arizona. I'm a native to California. Been here for about 5.5 years. Since arriving here, it has been non-stop transition. Jobs, apartments, jobs. I'm exhausted. I feel so exhausted. I know the difference of being rather than doing, and, doing my best to listen to my intuition. I can listen for everyone else, but listening for myself is sometimes not always right there for me. So anyway, I am in between job positions, just taking care of myself and my sweet Simba cat, getting our basic needs met and getting those things met and taken care of. So I'm in between jobs. Lease is up at the end of this month with the apartment. I thought we were moving back to Cali. That hasn't opened up. I would really love some sense of direction. Am I missing something? What the heck's going on?
First of all, you got to get out of the desert. You have to get out of the desert. You have to get to water.
Yes, that's very much me. Yeah.
To the water. And believe it or not, I was hearing like the northeast coastline, not south, but north, like the Martha's Vineyard, or not necessarily live there, but to take a little respite there. You just need a shift of energy. Arizona is really hard on a water person's body.
It's brutal, yeah.
Really, really arid and hard. And then there's certain people who just wilt. And you're one of the wilters. It's just not the right energy. When you get on the right, and the ley lines are the energy lines within the earth. The ley lines for you there are it's just not the right combination, So I think as soon as you get near water, you're going to get a lot more clarity.
How do you do that? There's the financial means needing to do that. I mean, I've been putting out my intention, my desire. It's on my vision board. It's in my heart. I'm talking to the universe and God about it all the time.
Stop.
I'm ready for the doors to open.
Stop. Let me say this. All of that is from last year.
Yeah.
What I'm going to ask you to do, and this is going to be courageous, I'm asking you to have courage to literally wipe everything you've ever been through from your slate. All of that was like taking final exams in college. Now you're sitting in front of the guidance counselor, and she's saying, okay, here's how to go towards getting a new job. And you're saying, and that final, and that midterm kicked my butt, and oh my God, I had 10 hours in this, and I did it all. And it's like, okay, you graduated. You're in a new field.
Right on.
You graduated. So what I'm going to ask you to have the courage to do is just pretend you don't have a past.
Okay.
How would it be if you had no past? And if you had no past, would that give money an opportunity to show up because you weren't constantly affirming how hard it is and how the past kicked your butt?
Absolutely.
Because money really can show up for you pretty easily. It's kind of swirling right around you. It feels like you're going to get some part-time work. I would look online. Have you thought of being a virtual assistant?
Actually, I was doing that for a short time with a organization up in Oregon, and it was very, very unhealthy for me. So I left it. I took a step of courage and stepped out and left that position the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay. So that's fine, but the skill, that environment wasn't right for you, but I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater with that.
Okay.
What I would do is start to look towards doing that from home.
Yeah.
I would, just build up a little bit of cash flow, and I would take a short trip out to the, out to the northeast or out just to water, even if you go back to Southern California, although something in the northeast, I don't know if it's a man or or an opportunity or something, but it feels like something in the, like maybe the Connecticut or Massachusetts, even the upper portion of Long Island, that area, there's something magical there for you. You know, I would love.
I've never been there. Oh.
Shop or something. It feels like you have a book in you. I would focus on being creative. Use your journal, write through it, and absolutely just don't put any more energy into what you've already done. It's like saying, you know, every assignment you ever had in college and you've graduated already.
Ah, right. No, that feels great. That feels really good.
Just get yourself to water, and for right now, get yourself a fountain in your house. Take a lot of a lot of baths, and get yourself water as soon as you can. All right? So I hope that helps. My show is literally over now, so I have to go before Sam kicks me off the air. But hopefully that helps, Julia, and thank you so much for calling in. So if you called in tonight and I did not get to you, thank you so much for waiting, but just call in next week because I will be doing readings again next week and we will get you on. Just be sure to call in early. You guys can call in 15 minutes early before we start the show. And let's see. So our Path of the Lightworker course starts on Monday. So this is the last week. I'll be taking registrations up until Thursday. So it's ahamomentsinc.com/lightworkerseries. And if you'd like a reading, let us know too. I'd love to get you on the schedule. And please, please, please go friend us on this blog talk thing so we can make sure that we know who's who and who's listening and what you guys want. And there's a place to do messages and all that kind of stuff too. So like I always say at the end of every show, first of all, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for listening, and thank you for even listening when we didn't have any live shows on. That was really enlightening, and I appreciate that so much, more than you know. I'm really honored. And you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it, too, and in this new energy, in this new year, you know, anything is possible. Let the other stuff go. It's done. Just create as if you have a totally clean slate. Have a great week, everybody. See you next Tuesday. Take care.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.